coming down to the Naval Air Engineering Station, the men and women from Sir Roger, and the Navy Lakehurst Historical Society, Baltimore. The site here is the Hindenberg Crash. And what you see is not the way it was at the time the ship came in. You notice out here, you have the main hangar, Hangar 1, which did house the Hindenberg brigade. Small hangar on the side of it, those two big ones were not there on the side of it. None of those buildings were there, the tree line was not there, none of those buildings were there, the tree line was not there. That site was not here. The fence was there, people could sit outside and watch the landing. None of these trees, hangars, the ball field, buildings, trees, none of that was there. The only building that was here in this area was the gray building with the flags on top, gray roof. The only other building facilitate landing and taking off of blimps. So on that particular day in 1937, May 6th, the Hindenberg had arrived about 6 o'clock in the morning along the coast and up near Foster. She was 9 hours late because of headwinds. On the way down...
Arrived from where?
Germany.
Oh, it came across the ocean to Germany.
Friedrichshafen. It was the only aircraft that could make commercial flights in one straight run. And that was the big advantage of taking the ship. It was expensive. It cost $100 one way, $700 round trip. So you had to have money or somebody pay for your fare, one or the other. And it was coming to this site, which was the international airport as such for that time period. In fact, it was the only one in North America. She was coming down, and there are some people, probably nobody here, who would have seen it that day. About 7 million people saw it. I haven't been one of them. I lived in Woodbridge. Came down across Staten Island, over to New Jersey, and that's when I saw it. She started heading south, but the storm cell was here, and she could not land at the time. She was waved off. I told her to go down along the coast, head for Atlantic City, and let her know when the situation was right.
Okay, so Nick, let me ask you a question. Now, this had made trips before.
10 trips in
right, so was it a
36?
big event each time it came?
Up until 1937 season, yes.
Yeah.
By 1937 season, it was...
Okay, but then it had made 8 trips or 7 trips, people said...
She made 10 trips here in 1937,
oh, okay.
or 36,
36, right.
and 7 trips to Rio de Janeiro in 1936.
Right. But it was still a big event. People came down by train to stay out in that area to watch the landing. People from Lakehurst, people who were on the fence there, to Mannion's bogs, and watched the landing. Those people were interested primarily because their sons, fathers, and brothers were on the line coast. Went down to Atlantic City. The storm cell was passing. They called her and told her that there was an opening because there was another storm cell coming in, so they wanted to bring her in between the cells. The first call, they waved it off. They didn't want to come in. And they got a second call. They said about 45 minutes, you can bring the ship in. That's in your window. So they brought her up. Max Pruss was the captain. They brought her up. The mooring mast was about in that area there, and they brought her up over this site. he could check the ground, make sure the ground crew was there. God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure everything was in readiness.
Teddy.
He was satisfied, went north, but now he's moving at a high speed. And this was taboo. They said never bring those ships in at high speed, make high speed turns.
What's high speed for them?
90 mile an hour,
Oh, really?
thereabouts. Back in back in the early 20s, the British R-38 was supposed to be delivered to the United States. She made a high-speed sharp turn on a 4-trial run, split in half, burned, crashed, killing 44 on board, 5 survivors. The Germans knew this. They knew that they should not bring the ship at high speed. They were late. He wanted to be out by 12 o'clock to take passengers back to Germany so they could take the train to France, the boat to England for the coronation. So he passed over here, made a sharp turn up there, came around. One fellow told me he went almost overhead over New Egypt, and he came back this way. On the way back, the captain of the ship shudder. They believe the cable, diagonal cable, snapped. But it always did. It did open. It was not a big deal. So when they bring it in, again, someone supposedly on the ground said they smelled diesel fuel. Did the cable snap? The ship started to settle in the aft end, indicating that the bags might have been ripped. Some of them before was ripped. There were 16 cells. Did it also rupture a fuel line? Nobody knows. Came around, from over here, and headed into the mast. As she's coming into the mast, they reversed the engines, brought it to a standstill, and there's a lot of observations that no one can prove, so I won't go into them. They dropped the lines, the landing lines accordingly.